Look at that, just like clockwork. I knew that was going to happen. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Square Bootcamp. We're so happy to see you here today. Before we get things kicked off, just a couple of things we just want to get out of the way very, very quickly, and then we're going to jump into today's session. First and foremost, whenever we do Square Bootcamp, this is all about showing you, the sales agent, how to use your demo account. Now, hopefully, you've already got your demo account set up. If you don't have it set up as of yet, square.paycompass.com. Once you create an account, send an email directly to sales@paycompass.com and say, hey, guess what? I created my own account. Give them the name of the business that you used. Give them the email address that you used. Just provide all the information that you put into it to create your own account. And when you send that email to sales@paycompass.com, just ask them, hey, convert my account that I just created into a demo account. Once it's a demo account, you can go out and you can present to a very wide range of merchants out there. So week after week, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showing you how to go through your demo account. Today's topic, this is part 3 of our bootcamp series. Let's go back to that first one very quickly. There we go. So this is going to be part 3 of our series. And today we're going to be covering customers, marketing, and loyalty. So we're going to show you how to access that within your demo account. And what we're going to do is, just kind of highlight some of the things that you should be showing to your merchants. Now, this is the one piece that I want to make sure we're very clear on. Given that these calls are all about helping you to manage your demo accounts and how to present the content, we will not be taking any questions regarding pricing on any of these Square boot camps. Okay, so if you came to the call and you got questions regarding, gosh, how do I set up a merchant on cash discounting? Or how do I set up a merchant on surcharging? Unfortunately, this is not the call. So what we say to you is if you do have those pricing questions, you got 2 options. You can either reach out to your local regional sales director and they can assist you with the pricing, or that famous email address that we throw out every single time, sales@paycompass.com. So thank you for understanding. We do appreciate it. We're not trying to be mean to you. I promise. We don't do pricing here. We just show you how to use the demo account. And then you go, oh my God, look at me. I'm a rock star. And I go, I know, right? So today's session, let's get it kicked off here. Part 3, it's going to be customers, marketing, and loyalty. So we do have some objectives for today that we're going to make sure that we cover in this session. And by the way, too, I did forget to mention this. What we're going to do is we're going to present content for about the first 40, 45 minutes or so. Then the remainder of the call, we're just going to open it right up to you, the sales agent. You can come off mute, you can ask questions. But as we're presenting content today, you can put your questions into the chat, and we're going to make sure that we get those read too. Okay, just like a Toolbox Tuesday, except it's called Square Bootcamp. Let's talk about today's objectives. We're going to talk about how Square has an integrated CRM at no extra cost. Now stop and think about it. All of those other platforms that you may have presented to a merchant before, usually it's an add-on or a bolt-on, or it costs a little bit of extra money. Look at that. Integrated CRM at no extra cost. We're going to talk about purchase history, item level insights, contracts, templates, and clauses. Clauses, one more time for those in the back, clauses. This one blew my mind. I could not believe. Stop and think about it. All of those virtual terminals that you've recommended over the years, invoicing and contracts and things like that. But to add a clause to it, I know, right? You didn't see that one coming. We're going to make sure that we cover that today. We're going to talk about the marketing and automations, loyalty integrated with customers, last but not least, house accounts. Let's jump over to the next slide, and I'm going to introduce our guest panelist. You know him, you love him. He is the POS guru here at PayCompass. Ladies and gentlemen, give some love to John Marshall. John, hey, buddy.
Good afternoon, Scott. Great to be here again. And, I just want to chime in on your demo account and remind everyone that Matt from Square was kind enough to do some import item templates just for you. That's right. Not Scott, for all of you agents. So that's found in Navigo. Search for POS and then look for Square demo account. There is an instruction document there. I recommend you read that first, because you have some homework to do. That's right. Modifiers need to be keyed in before you import the items so they link together. Not a heavy lift, but an important detail. So I just want to mention that those 3 templates for retail, services, and hospitality are in Navigo. And
Yeah.
without further ado,
I was going to say, but very quickly too, for those of you that may have missed that Toolbox Tuesday that we did about 2 to 3 weeks ago, where we're showing you how to set up a Square demo account, go to the Pay Compass YouTube channel and look for like the most recent Toolbox Tuesday, setting up your Square demo account. Matt Piva from Square was kind enough to set aside the time, show the entire audience how to set up that demo account. And to John's point, he did provide some templates that are available in Navigo. Download, add it right to your Square account, and now you're going to be up and running. All right, John, let's get it kicked off. We got a lot of content that we got to cover today, my man. So right out of the gate, when you and I were first setting up today's session, probably one of the key things that I drilled down on was a comment that you made. And you said, in regards to Square itself, it's kind of like the one customer brain for any business. So define that. What are you talking about, John?
So many of our other products have add-ons to expand their functionality, right? So that adds complexity, it adds different support people and levels. But I'm just looking at this slide and thinking to myself about that brand that starts with a T. And it's the thing that you often have heated and crunchy in the morning, but all of these items pointing to the brain are add-ons at extra fees for toast. So you didn't hear me say that, but I think
I'll say it. Hey, everybody, it's toast. Okay, it's toast. Toast charges a lot of money for these extra add-ons. Let's just get this right out of the way. John, take it away, my man. I couldn't help myself. We know who it is.
I appreciate that.
Elephant in the room, folks. It's toast. Take it away, John.
Tightly integrated. And the other thing I want to show you all during this call, and I'm going to pick on loyalty top center, all of our other offerings, every single one builds loyalty based on dollars spent. The unique thing just to its left, item level history, Square tracks what our customers are buying, and you can market to them based on their actual purchase history, not dollars spent. So Scott, if you have a favorite burger or whatever, I can say, hey, everybody who ordered that burger in the last 90 days, I want to let you all know that we're adding this seasonal specialty that we think you will like based on your purchase history. That's really, really unusual, very targeted, not just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping they respond. So there's some really exciting features in here. House accounts, I get questions about all the time. Guess what, Scott? It's built in, right? No apps, no additional SaaS, no additional support. It's all in there. So we're excited to kick off the nitty-gritty details of Bootcamp as we start drilling into the portal, which again is available to you with your demo accounts to demonstrate and show your potential clients.
Yeah, and at this point in time, John, I'm sure you're probably going to get your demo account pulled up here so we can start walking through it. John, let's just remind our audience. Now, when we had Matt with us a couple of weeks ago on that Toolbox Tuesday, I believe that Matt was kind of like, there's the Square demo account that kind of shows what it looks like from the administrative side. But correct me if I'm wrong, there's kind of like that companion app that our sales agents can add to their phone, which kind of shows like the POS version as far as placing orders goes, correct?
Yes. So the portal is, I'll call it similar to what we're familiar with in a VT, right? The back end runs on a browser, but there is actually a Square app, which is the POS, if you will. It's in both app markets for iOS and Android. It's the black Square logo that you want to get. You will see some other legacy services, retail and restaurant in there. Don't use those. They're now all rolled up into one app with the black Square logo. So that will do everything for you. And I think we just jump in, Scott. What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump right into it. And to you, the sales agent, once again, as far as the content that we're presenting, we never ever want this to be overwhelming. We never want you to feel like we're just, opening the fire hose and just throwing a whole bunch of information at you. Our goal with these being recorded, by the way, which will go live on our YouTube channel probably in about 24 hours or so, our goal is just to kind of hit on a very high level how to kind of manage your demo account so that you can present to that wide range of different merchants. So what today, I'll tell you right now, like every time I sit down with John and we start planning out these sessions and he shows me all the secret sauce that's built into it, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm really hard pressed to, to say to you, you're kind of missing the boat if you're not having these conversations. And I'll even double down on that. But, today when we're looking at everything from like the CRM perspective, the loyalty, let's talk about that boot camp that we did 2 weeks ago. Do you remember that one? Hybrids. We talked about hybrids. I will tell you right now, if you're just looking at this with blinders on, oh, I should only go to restaurants and retail, we're going to show you today in regards to that customer loyalty piece, just how valuable it is, even in the services industry. So, John, why don't you go ahead and take it away, my man? I'm sure you've got your screen on the ready.
Sure. I'm going to take a little detour here, Scott, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that is just confirm that you're seeing my screen.
A pricing page made for your restaurant.
So these are the rack rates, and this is right up here in squareup.com under the pricing tab. I want to call something out about these boot camps. There's the free version, which is great for a sole proprietor or something like that. But what we're going to focus on today are the plus and premium packages, because that's where the features really come out. But as an agent, as a seller, this should be your number one go-to page, because as you go down here, you can pick the vertical. In my case, I have food and beverage selected, and it'll show you the features or the lack of features, for example, of free versus plus versus premium. So just to give you an example, we're going to be down here messing around with customer engagement. And there are some basic features in free, but as you can see here, the marketing components for email, for SMS, automated marketing campaigns, etc., are exclusive to the plus and premium flavors. So I just want to make that call out that these boot camps are really geared for plus at a minimum. And I also want to suggest or mention to you all that this $49 SaaS fee pays for itself in terms of card pricing savings at about $33,000 a month in card volume. So again,
Say that again, one more time for the people in the back. John, where's that break-even point, sir?
well, so again, free is more expensive because it's free. Plus reduces those rates both for card present and card not present, and premium reduces them further. But instead of looking at this and seeing a $49 SaaS, I look at this and see the savings in processing pays for that SaaS for the merchants processing around $30,000 to $33,000 a month in rate savings. Right? So you have to look
John,
at total cost of ownership, Scott.
yeah, and John, would you say it's fair just to, once again, I realize that sometimes we're being a little repetitious, but, even with all of these boot camps, the biggest thing that we're trying to do is to help our entire audience to understand that Square is not about winning merchant services. It's about solution selling. And week after week, when we do these boot camps, it's about showing you the solutions that you can present to these merchants. So, John, who would you say is the best fit for a Square? Is it like that one guy that he's the only one that takes payments? Like, let's get it defined, and especially define the plus, given that's kind of like the starting point of a majority of these boot camps. What would you say?
So I'm going to start with free because you led me to that. But the
Yep.
person who's on the road traveling who doesn't have other employees, free is fine, right? It doesn't have a lot of marketing. It's all about me being a seller. When you get to plus, you add employees with different permissions and rights to do different things. You start to get these more robust feature sets like we're going to talk about today, robust loyalty, marketing, house accounts, all these things that in some other systems you need to buy and pay for additional apps. So for me, Plus is really the starting point for SMB. If you're just a road warrior starting out, then free might be fine for you. But the other neat thing is you can convert and upgrade and downgrade at any time with Square. And for you agents and for your new sellers, the first 30 days of Plus are free to try it out and get hooked, and I'm sure you will. So I'm going to skip back to my Square account and let's get this party started, Scott.
All right, let's get it kicked off here. To you, the sales agent, once again, it's all about you. Bring your questions to the table. John and I are going to present content, keep everything at a very high level in regards to customers, loyalty, CRM, marketing. There's a lot here, but our objective, not to get you overwhelmed, but to get you excited. John, where are you going to start off today, my man? Where are we going to go?
Oh, I wanted to point out that this can be your demo account by signing up. But here are all the different navs down the side, and we're going to touch on each one of these separately in its own boot camp. So we started with hybrids, defining who is the great merchant fit for Square. Today we're going to drill into customers, which I will open up, and the customer directory you can see I already have open here. So this is that CRM you talked about, Scott. And there's a couple really interesting things about this. Notice I've got groups up top. We talked about segmenting customers by their purchase history. So for example, let's create a new group that we might want to market to, right? So I can click in here and I can create a smart group. And what are we going to do it? Well, we're going to talk about, there's a couple templates here because Square is very good at giving you suggestions, but I'm going to make a custom smart group. And let's just say I want to pick the last visit date. And last visit date is let's do more than 3 months ago. And I want to add a purchase detail and I want to say a category. So let's say burgers. So what I've done here is I've created a group that says for everyone who ordered a burger more than 3 months ago, they're going to be included in this group, which means I can send them a message saying, we miss you. We want you back. We haven't seen you in the last 90 days. Here's a coupon or here's a new offering, right? So I can customize not only who my target audience is out of my CRM, but I can pick from item levels. Let me show you again. I picked a category of burgers here, but I can actually pick an item or a service. We don't talk about services as much as hospitality, Scott, but let's say there's a salon, and let's say your wife had her hair colored 3 weeks ago. I could set up a group that says for everyone who had their hair done 3 weeks ago, and that's a rolling 3 weeks, I want to send them a reminder that it's probably time to schedule your next appointment. Right? That's the kind of power that you can have by like item level, category level, purchase date level segmentation. So I'm going to cancel out of this and just give you an example. So my friend here, Darth Vader, I can open up his profile over here and go down and see. Okay, that's a bad example. Let me pick myself. You can see I've been assigned to multiple groups, right? Recent purchases, loyalty enrollees. So you can assign automatically or manually your customers into different groups. The other thing that's kind of interesting is when I have a customer pulled up, I can tap these 3 dots and I can create any of the Square functionality right from here. I can take a payment, create an invoice or an estimate. Here's that house account we're going to talk about a little bit later. Look at all my history, even merge it if I have 2 instances of the same person, like Scott does. So lots of really cool things here. And again, once the customers are segmented, for instance, I can pick the group of people who bought flowers in the springtime planting season saying, hey, we're having a summer special, right? Just to carve out that subset of customers. So really cool things that happen right here at the very beginning, at the top, at the directory level. The other thing, Scott, I think you were excited to see the feedback options here.
Yes, that's right. We did this one.
And there's some insights too. And I'm actually going to change gears a little bit here. And let's see if I can do this. And how do I stop sharing? Let's move this here. Let stop share. And let me switch gears, Scott. And
I was
I'm
going to say,
going
John,
to.
you're just like me. Like we started off in the Google world, went to Zoom, and then it's like, oh, I got to stop sharing at some point, but I don't know where it is. I do it. I do it all the time. Trust me.
Right. So, Scott, here, are you seeing my POS screen?
Not as of yet, sir.
Not as of yet, huh? Let's see if we can get this going. Screen share, screen, start broadcast.
Okay, now I see it. This is off of your iPad, correct, sir?
There it is. So iPad is the preferred demo device, not only because of size, but it actually is what is recommended for restaurant use in the Square stand. But Scott, I'm glad to see you here visiting and patronizing the Burger Palace. So a lot of nice, tempting things here. What would you like to order today on your visit?
Oh gosh, mozzarella sticks look wonderful, and I think I'll take a grilled cheese.
All right.
And yeah, we're gonna call it good.
Now, no. So the grilled cheese, I have a couple options. Would you like to add bacon, tomato, or avocado to that?
Bacon,
All right. Is that it?
more bacon? No kidding.
Okay, bacon. I'm going to say done. I also want to show you all a neat feature that just came out. I'm going to order the best burger. And notice I can pick a roll, Kaiser. I want that done medium. Let's notice the onions and pickles are included. Pickles add 50 cents. If I tap pickles, it takes 50 cents off. If I tap onions, it takes onions off. But let's go down a little bit further. Notice the fries or salad choice. If I hit fries, that's it. If I tap salad, watch what happens, Scott. I get a new salad dressing pop up. So sub modifiers are now included. So we're done. So I've got your order here. Scott, you're a loyalty member, aren't you?
I am, of course I am.
So I'm up in the top right. I'm going to tap guest. And notice I can then scan for Scott. There he is. I'm going to attribute them. Him. Notice I see what he's ordered in the past. I see different feedback. I'm going to go back to the check and we're going to pay him out because he's ready to go. By the way, notice 32.47 nickel rounding rounds down to 32.45 for cash. I'm going to pay that out. No receipt, or you can do a text or email receipt. I'm going to actually email Scott his receipt. Notice he earned 30 points for his loyalty today. I can tap done, and now I can serve the next customer. So Scott, why did we actually take them through this interesting journey?
Because what we're going to do is we're going to highlight right now why this matters so much from a customer's perspective in regards to the customer providing feedback on their experience. And I guess this is the part where I share my screen. And
Do I need to stop share?
no, it's this one right here. There we go. Perfect. All right. So now I am going to share my screen. Here is my receipt. We're going to provide feedback. I'm going to tap on the smiley face. All right. So this was something that John and I kind of messed around with a little bit yesterday. But I will tell you that when I got the receipt, we did the transaction and everything else, and I'm sitting here kind of going, yeah, John, I get these receipts all the time from my local restaurants. I don't really understand why we should get so excited about this, but watch this, everybody. Okay.
So Scott, before you do that, your
Go
screen
ahead.
was a little laggy to share. Go back to the smiley face before on the email, just to show everybody what that looks like. So
Right
there's his receipt, and we're prompting for a response, right? We want to engage the customer.
All right, so I'm going to say that it was quality, and I'm going to say the wait time was pretty good, and I'm just going to say, just keep it up. And everybody gets to watch me fumble and type, but this is the cool part, everybody. Okay, so I am the customer of John. I visit there all the time. I grab lunch. I'm going to get this submitted, but now, as his customer, I'm going to get prompted. There will be a prompt. So I can actually come in and manage, as John's customer, I can come in and manage my loyalty account with his business. And I should have gotten a follow up. Go ahead, John.
I might take over the screen share if you don't mind.
There we go. Yep. Oh,
Let's
you
see.
know what happened, John?
What's that?
You know what happened?
Tell me.
I got a text message, not an email.
All right. Are you seeing my feedback screen?
I am. I am. Take it away, John.
So look at this. That Scott's little comments and smiley face. 124, right? That was 1 minute ago. Quality, wait time, keep it up. Look at that. I've got instant feedback. I can actually click on this and I can send back a pre-typed message, or I can send another one and say, great having you with us, and send it back. And Scott's going to get that on his side. So what does this mean to your sellers, right? The smiley face, the feedback, good or bad, you know what that does, Scott?
Tell me, John, what does it do?
It keeps people from going to social media, putting a bad review on, right? As the seller now, I can address your concerns immediately in real time. I can actually respond to you. I can send a I'm sorry coupon. For the happy people, we could say, look forward to seeing you again. So all of a sudden now, that receipt, that e-receipt, has opened up this whole channel of messaging to your customers. Again, engaging them. I think it's just stunning.
Yeah, and for everybody's knowledge, okay, so when we did our dry run yesterday, this all transpired via email, but I did get the text messages on the phone. So what I want to do is I'm just going to verbally talk you, the sales agent, through this. So when we did this yesterday, I got the email, I clicked on it, I provided the feedback, but then what wound up happening is I got a link and I could, quote unquote, create an account as a customer of John. So I created an account, and as his customer, what it did is it generated a dashboard for me. It showed me how many points that I've accrued. If I wanted to enter my birthday, I have an opportunity to once again have John's business reach out to me as far as the loyalty goes. So the reason we're calling this out, because it's not just about, how does the merchant manage the portal? How does the merchant, ring up the transaction on the POS system? When you're having these conversations with that merchant, when you're diving into how are you staying in tune with what your customers want? How are you rewarding them for being loyal? How are you getting your customers to come back if you haven't seen them for a while? Now, I'm going to go back to something that we said previously, and always know that sometimes John and I are going to be repetitious, but we're doing it because repetition is going to help to build familiarity. Square does have tentacles. And one of the things that we shared is that Square is, in and itself, everything you see within your demo account, solution selling. So it's even going to make recommendations, which John and I are going to show you here shortly. It will even make recommendations to a merchant with the loyalty. Looks like you haven't seen some of these folks in a while. Let us show you how you can increase your engagement. Go ahead, John. Take it away, my man.
Well, Scott, before you leave that, again, we discovered this yesterday. In that dashboard that you opened, there was a section that said add linked cards.
Add linked card, correct, yes.
So what did we discover when you add a link card? What's the function of that?
The function of that is so that I can make a payment in real time, albeit online, or I can make a payment when I go there in person. But probably the biggest benefit of that is that for merchants that want to have online ordering with the Plus plan up to 10 websites, now with that card linked, it's going to make it that much easier during the checkout process. Did I miss anything, John?
So you missed the other half, which is brick and mortar. Whichever way you choose to purchase,
Right.
Square recognizes that card linked to you and automatically attributes the purchase to your loyalty plan. You don't have to identify yourself or key in a phone number like all the other loyalty plans. You just use your card to pay, and you've claimed that purchase for your loyalty points today.
what about this, John? Let me ask you this. I link my card, so I'm making things a lot easier. I'm earning points because now when I visit your business, it's associated with my card. But John, what if I wanted to add a second card? But let me take it a step further. What if I want to add my wife's card to my profile just because she likes to order from your business as well? I mean, is that going to kind of throw up red flags like, oh man, now you're gaming the system? Like, how does that work, my man?
No, I mean, if you guys go out to claim your loyalty points together, then you should aggregate your points together as well, right? So, and think about a family with kids that are out with debit cards or whatever, right? The parents could enjoy all the loyalty while the kids are ringing up the sales at the snack bars or the local shop. So, that, again, all just capabilities that are there, however you want to use them. If that linked card is in your Apple Wallet and you tap with Apple Pay, guess what happens? Still associates with you, and you learn those loyalty points. And again, think about the places that you have to put in your phone number to identify the transaction. That slows the line down, right? So they've solved for that. So lots of cool functions. Let's get back to the dash for a second, Scott. I'm going to click back to Insights. You remember you had the smiley faces and some of those other things?
I did.
So I can go in here in the Insights and I can see, well, I need to do last month, so I can do different periods. I can see what everyone has done and the frequency per customer, right? How many people are repeat customers or not? And similarly, what are their satisfaction rate? So again, boy, quality is stepping ahead. Wait time is good. Customer service. So I can actually see where I'm exceeding and maybe where I need to tweak in my business to make it better. So really cool options in these insights. Scott, you mentioned contracts, and we don't necessarily need to go in here today. And by the way, we're going to talk about these again next week.
Next week.
Bootcamp, when we talk about invoices and estimates. But contracts are bound to customers, right? That's why they live here. So, but think about anything that's a large purchase. We talked about services like HVAC, plumbing, electric, where maybe I send you an estimate or a proposal for a new heat pump. Maybe it's $5,000. And I want to get your signature on that, Scott, because I want to know and be able to prove that you approved this purchase for me. So these contracts can be attached to estimates. They can be attached to invoices. They are e-signature. So you have that e-signature capability. They can be required when attached to an estimate. Again, we'll talk about that next week in details. But Scott, this is what really, I think caught your attention is I can have multiple templates for different contract types predefined for my business. Maybe it's by services or equipment or whatever. But these templates and contracts are generic. So you can add different clauses to those contracts to suit your business based on your needs, your lawyer's recommendations, etc. So really neat option that's built in here. Again, it's hiding in the customer section, but we're going to talk about this in more detail next week.
Yeah. And by the way, for you, the sales agent, as a reminder, earlier this week, we had sent out that email with register for Square Sessions. Now, hopefully, when you register for this one, you might have noticed on that registration page, there was a drop-down menu so that you can register for every single session throughout the month of August. I know that we're going to be sending out more emails again soon. So, just as a reminder, we love seeing you on these calls. Hopefully you picked up on that. If not, go back to that original email that we sent out earlier this week. Take a look at it. Click on the registration link, click on that drop down. You're going to see you can register for every single session in the month of August. John, take it away, my man. I'm sorry.
No, cool. Good to know. So I'm going to jump into the marketing section here. And Scott, I think we've talked about this before, and that Square really wants not to hide features, but to promote features and help sellers utilize them. So for example, if I just look at my overview of my marketing, this is a summary of my campaigns, or will be in a second. I don't have any active campaigns going. As you can see here, my recent campaigns, well, I had a couple. But more importantly, right, automatically at the top, they are making suggestions on how to utilize this, right? How do you win back 10% of lapsed customers? Get started right here. How do you connect Google and Square to manage ads? Getting started, right? You can upload an existing mailing list. Maybe you're moving from another POS. Um, Sending a newsletter, I think, is kind of interesting. I had a discussion the other day about loyalty versus marketing. And some merchants maybe aren't keen on loyalty, earning points, or giving discounts or whatever. But the marketing is kind of the mirror reflecting back on loyalty. So if you want to promote your business without necessarily giving away discounts, the marketing component is how to do that. So for example, a monthly newsletter talking about what entertainment happens each week at your restaurant, or what the flower or shrub that should be being planted this month is if you're a retailer in landscaping. Maybe I want to set up a campaign again to bring back people that we haven't seen for a while. Scott, you mentioned filling out a birthday in your profile. Well, maybe we want to wish them a happy birthday and offer them, a coupon or something to come back. Again, built-in email campaigns, Facebook campaigns. Again, on the receipt, you can have a promotion on the receipt, and you can do SMS text messages. And you can see here's the active campaigns, but really cool on the email commands, I can see what the open rate and the interest level is. And I can actually see what the dollar volume of sales that those promotions generated after the fact, right? Because that card linkage all comes back to play here, Scott.
Yeah.
Right? I can see the effectiveness of each of these things. I can tweak them to try to make them better, but I've got real-time feedback happening right here.
John, what I want you to do is scroll so I can see a little bit more of the top screen, but do it very, very slowly. And stop right there. Perfect. All right. Sales agent, let's have a conversation very, very quickly. I promise we're going to move on with content, but I want to remind you, going back to previous boot camps that we've done, I said it at the beginning of this call, and I'm going to keep reiterating it because I love driving this point home with you, is that Square is all about the solutions. It's not about selling merchant services. Now, if you remember a couple of weeks ago when we did our boot camp session, we were talking about banking. Matter of fact, it was session number 1, the very first session that we did, where we were showing in the banking section, hey, look at this. You can apply for a loan through Square, but then Square provided the analytics saying, well, you don't really qualify for a loan through us just yet, but here are some of the key steps that you can do so that you can qualify in the future. The reason I'm doing a call back to that is take a look at this screen right here. Once again, it's all about Square helping the business to identify the things that they need to do to grow their business. It's not about, hey, look at that, we can help to get your processing volume up or anything. That's not the conversation. The conversations that come from Square, hey, do you want to connect Google and Square to manage all of your ads? Cool, we're going to show you how. You want to bring back some of those lapsed customers? Cool, we're going to show you how. Solutions, friends. Always keep that in the back of your mind. Whenever you walk into a business, it's about finding out where the pain point is, finding out how bad it hurts, and identifying that you have the power right in the palm of your hand to bring a solution to the table to solve those issues. John, take it away, my man.
Yeah, let me show you right at the bottom here again. Questions or issues, support docs, learn about email best practices, understand your performance versus the industry average. There's so much here, so much content to help the merchant, the seller, really leverage all of these tools. I'm going to just skip over campaigns very briefly. Again, I don't have a lot of them that are active, but it'll track all of your different outreach campaigns, by the channel. Now, automations I am going to pause on. This is really neat. So far we've talked about segmenting customers by their purchase habits and dates of purchase and all that sort of thing. And again, notice there's a get started at the top of this one too, but automations are not marketing campaigns that you trigger. These are marketing campaigns that auto trigger. So remember we talked about the win back, Scott, that if I haven't seen you in 3 weeks or 3 months, I can set that up as an automation. So I don't have to go and trigger it once a week. It'll automatically watch those smart groups. And when people in them fall out of the 90 days, they will be sent, a lapsed customer, for example. And again, discover more. Look at all these sample profiles. We talked about lapsed customers already. Welcome of new customers, drive repeat purchases, request birthday, and then send something on the birthday. But Scott, you were intrigued by this. Not only are they suggesting these automations, but they actually suggest what the implications are. So again, wishing them a happy birthday increases return by 72%.
This ties into what I'm saying to you, my friend, the sales agent. This is what Square does with solutions. Look at that. Providing insight to the merchant. Hey, just so you know, when you wish somebody a happy birthday or you send them a coupon or whatever the case is on their birthday, the chances of you increasing your level of business goes up by 72%. Who else is providing that data? Friends, get excited about this. John, continue on, my man.
And just to point out, some of these are 8 and 6%, but these are aggregates, right? These are not meant to be isolated or insular. They're supposed to be going on at all the same time. So you pick up an extra 8% here, an extra 6% here. You wish them happy birthday. And this just keeps going on with all of these, different possible automations that, again, trigger without you interacting with them. It just happens in the background. It's like an assistant manager that does it, or a marketing team. It's really crazy. So again, those are automations. Google reviews is similar. That's to request or reward people for leaving reviews to get you higher rankings in Google. We in the Clover world, we get a lot of requests for couponing. So again, coupons are built into Square. You can have holidays, different periods, start, end dates, expiration, how many days they're live. But again, the feedback loop, you actually see how many people redeemed them and what the dollar spend result was, right? This is a feedback loop, Scott. This is not just, throwing these things out in the newspaper and you don't know who's redeeming them or how soon or expiration. I mean, this is really, really exciting stuff. Look at this. This is sort of where we get into the AI components. There's actually a marketing assistant AI component. So the idea behind this is the AI will give you personalized suggestions based on your selling, purchasing, customer history of what campaigns you might want to consider. Right? So this is anticipating. So again, if this is all new to a seller, and they don't know where to begin, the assistant's going to suggest it, Scott. So not only will it be customized to the seller, but it'll present that to the seller to tweak the wording or the group or the size or the offer. But then you just say, yes, that sounds great. Just like you had a marketing assistant that would bring us, hey, Scott, what do you think about this idea? Yeah, do it. Let's go. So marketing assistant, this is where we're starting to see that AI come into play, which I think is really cool. This is a little bit boring, contact collection, but we get it all the time. How do I promote and get people to sign up? We talked about the receipt that I just sent you, Scott. But again, look at this. There's a little sign up page here. I'm just going to copy it and put it into a new tab and show you. There it is. Right? I can attach this to Facebook. I can print this out. I can have it, on my website, whatever. Again, here's a little reward when you join our loyalty program. So super cool. Again, all of the different things that you need. Are there any settings in here that we need to go over? No. Let's jump into loyalty.
Jump into loyalty and house accounts and make sure we stay on track here for our sales agents.
Yep. So again, loyalty is, I think, is also very interesting because it shows you the results of your loyalty program. So it'll show you the visits and this total spend of the group that is enrolled in loyalty versus the non-loyalty customers. That's really interesting. It's almost like an A/B test. Is your loyalty program driving more visits, bigger spend, et cetera, et cetera? So again, this is a bad example because it happens to be August, which was way last week. But in this case, yeah, loyalty people are way outspending non-loyalty. Let's go back to July just for some better numbers. But again, in this example, my loyalty customers are spending almost 2.5 times more than my non-loyalty customers. I
But
mean,
it's
this is
also an opportunity to turn those non-loyalty into loyalty customers to increase that spend.
correct. Yep, yep. Awesome stuff. Um, there's different reports and all that sort of thing. So marketing, I know you said we just talked about this up top, which is marketing campaigns. There is a marketing section for loyalty. So for example, lots of suggestions to create campaigns. Um, let your customers know about that loyalty program. Maybe they haven't signed up yet, but you have their email, right? So, and again, you can do all sorts of automations as well. Everything is here just at a click of the button. So super easy for sellers to engage. And again, we talked about the difference of Plus and Premium plans. Plus comes included 500 SMS messages per month. Premium has 2,500 SMS messages per month included. So you can do email campaigns. Text messaging gets opened much more than email messaging. So it's a better conduit to reach your customers, particularly if they recognize your name. You can do different promotions like back to school special, 2-for-1 points for the month of August, right? You can do different loyalty promotions, specials. If Monday and Tuesday night are not your big times, maybe double points for dinner on Monday, Tuesday nights. Really interesting ways to bring people in on your quiet days. It doesn't stress, the staff. You can set up multiple tiers, right? Gold, silver, copper, with different point balances, different rewards, even as you get up in those different categories and sections. And the settings, I think Matt went over this before, but you can actually customize all of this and what the reward is when you hit those different thresholds. And then finally, Scott, I'm going to wrap today's discussion up with house accounts. And I think this is really cool. Again, this kind of links to with our discussion of invoices next week. But for house accounts, they're not just there as a tender type for everyone. You actually have to go in and create them. So in Han Solo's case, right, I have set a $5,000 spending limit, and I've set it to be manually invoiced. You can trigger this to automatically send an e-invoice at the end of each month if you want to automate it fully. So think about house accounts. Scott, we talked about services, right? You get your lawn cut, 2 times a month. Maybe I'm a business and my plumber bills me once a month for all the visits for the previous month. Maybe again, I'm a hotel, a hospitality restaurant and a local business. So just put all my employees on a single house account and bill me at the end of the month. All of this is automated. It becomes a tender type on the POS itself. You can see recent transactions for this particular customer. And notice up here, I can collect payment. And when I tap that, guess what? I go over to the invoice section of Square because it's built in, right? So I can go down here and I can say, when it's due. I can look at I can preview the statement. I can choose which payment methods. Maybe I don't want them using ACH because I know there's a flat fee in Square for that, but we can limit it only to credit or debit, or I can do exclusively ACH. If it's a big purchase amount, maybe I want to avoid card fees altogether. Delivery options, I'm going to send an email, text, etc., notes, send, done. This is a manual invoice. I can also automate this and not have any extra workload.
It was interesting when we were putting this together, we were talking about house accounts and talking about services. I mean, for the most part, that's not something I've always thought about. When I always think of house accounts, is that local pub down the street where, they set up house accounts with a spend limit for all of their customers. But to actually tie that into the services piece, a little bit more of an interesting take on it. John, I see we got about 10 minutes left here. Got some questions that are popping up in the chat on my end. Was there anything else that you wanted to highlight very quickly, my man?
I think we've covered a whole lot here. And again, this just underscores how wide the ecosystem of Square is. We've just talked about customers today, and we've got 8 or 9 more boot camps of those other functionalities. They are a technology company, Scott.
Yeah, and John, just let's gravitate over to the left-hand side of the screen, that left navigation. Let's just scroll right to the very top. Just scroll right to the very top, okay? Now, John, you have had the luxury of rolling up your sleeves, going through your demo account. You have pretty much nailed every single nuance, every single feature. John, to our audience, what would you say? Would you say don't be afraid to roll up your sleeves too, get your hands dirty, click on these drop downs and investigate? Like what would the advice be that you would give to our audience, John?
Definitely trial and error. You can always delete items, right? You can actually set up multiple profiles. So, Scott, in my POS demo, I have a sample for a landscaping company. You saw the burger joint that I rang up your sales on. You can actually have multiple business types or profiles and switch between them or between modes, as Square likes to say, at a moment's notice. So you can walk down the street and pull door after door at different types of businesses and probably solve for all of them. But the other thing I want to point out is there are, like if I open items and services, there's lots of options under each of these. It can look overwhelming. My recommendation is use search. You remember we're at house accounts. So if I just type house, it actually will take me to the house account page or the reports or the settings, or I can actually have support articles on how to use it. So you don't have to be an expert on knowing where all these features are. You just have to use search and it will take you right there. So I think that's a huge differentiator. And I credit Square for thinking about making it that easy.
I think that's quite possibly one of the most valuable pieces is using that search function, especially given the fact that it's taking the end user directly to articles that were created by Square. Said it before, I'm going to say it again one more time with feeling. Square is all about solutions, and they're all about helping businesses to grow. And it's not, hey, where's Square? We're going to show you how to make more money. It's Square, hey, based upon the reporting that we're doing on the back end, we're identifying the gaps. Here are some articles to show you how to fix those gaps. All right, John, I see we got about 8 minutes left. Let's open it up right to our sales agents. John,
before you do, Scott, I want to blow your mind. Actually, I want to blow everybody's mind on this call, and I might come back to this in future calls. See this little smiley face down here called ManagerBot?
Yep.
This is in pre-release. It's available now. You can get it added to your demo account. It's being rolled out in real time, so most new merchants will have it. If I tap that, it opens up a whole new section. And like we've said before, right, Square is anticipating what the seller's needs are. So this section called Pulse, look at this. It gives you insights in real time before you might even recognize them. Wow, in my sales department, my shrubs category sales dipped by 100%. Well, I was away last week, so that makes sense. But it points out changes in sales behaviors, missing item details in your catalog, missing descriptions, slow moving inventory stock that maybe you want to have a sale and not replace. Really interesting stuff. Again, that this AI in the background is anticipating and suggesting actions before you even have maybe recognized them. So we're going to keep revisiting some of the cool features of ManagerBot, but I just wanted to show you that before we go to questions.
No, I will say that ManagerBot is quite possibly one of the most beneficial pieces that Square has added to this. The fact that it is, correct me if I'm wrong, John, it's readily available in the demo accounts too, though, correct?
It is. They're actually rolling out to live accounts as we speak. So probably by the end of the month, everyone will have it.
Excellent. All right, John, I'm going to throw the first question at you over here. If someone is using a new / second card not on file, will the system say that it's not connected to a person and show a search feature so it can be added to their profile?
So yes, I'm going to actually use the directory, and I'm going to use you as an example, Scott.
Okay.
So I sold you a couple things. Oh, did it? It looks like it merged you already. So there was two entries for Scott, right? One when I was experimenting, and one from yesterday as we were sending receipts to his phone. So what will happen is you'll see two entries for the same person. And actually, it doesn't show you here, but it'll show you a warning up top that, hey, I've spotted what appears to be duplicates. Would you like to merge them? So the answer is yes, it'll accept them, and it'll also point out we think this is the same person, but it leaves you to make that choice whether to merge or not.
Excellent question. Thank you for throwing that one out there. Sales agent, we do have 5 minutes left, but it's not about us. It's about you. Come off mute, or you can use the Q&A feature that is located here in the chat. Let's hear from you. Don't even have to use that raised hand feature. We don't do that kind of stuff here at Pay Compass. Just come right off mute. What do you have for questions?
We need that Jeopardy soundtrack, Scott.
We do.
Sorry, Scott, I do actually have to raise their hands in these for me to unmute them. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand.
Oh,
We have the manual unmute. Gotcha.
we have the manual unmute.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're recording this live to show you that we're not Zoom experts. So yeah, I guess apparently to come off mute, you got to use the raise hand feature. So hey team, use that raise hand feature and we'll take you off mute. What have you got for questions?
Just blew their minds, Scott. Their heads are spinning with all these new capabilities.
Or they're looking for the raised hand feature because I had to search for it too. I'm just putting it out there. So
When you're used to the G Suite, it does look a lot different.
it does.
Well, I'm going to make a shameless plug then while we're waiting. We touched on customers today. Next week, payments and invoices. Lots of exciting things in here. Estimates, payment links, permalinks, subscriptions, even disputes and a risk manager. So lots of great stuff. Inside invoices, managed projects, recurring series, estimates, as we talked about. So much in there. That's going to keep us busy next week. And I just keep thinking of how many POSs have no invoicing capability natively. No.
Yeah. No, that's a great point because a lot of POS systems require that separate virtual terminal. Now you're looking at two different SaaS fees, which is where this saves the day.
And your hybrid discussion, right? How many restaurants do catering and send out estimates? How many service businesses? Again, I'm going to send you an estimate for that new heat pump for your house, right? Even though I have maybe a tile store to sell retail, I send out my team to install. These hybrid businesses, Square just suits really, really well.
Q&A feature, raise your hand. Love to hear from you before we break. Go once. Twice. I'm going to go right to 3. All right. To you, the sales agent, we love seeing you on these calls. We really do. Our hope is that these calls are beneficial to you. Hopefully, we're helping you to navigate your personal Square demo account so that you feel confident. Because ultimately, that's what it comes down to. We want you to feel confident. We don't want you to stumble and fumble when you're presenting Square to any of your merchants. What we want is for you to feel confident. We want you to feel empowered. And we want to help build that level of familiarity. As always, if you want to go back and revisit some of the previous sessions that we did, go to the Pay Compass YouTube channel. All the videos are right there. We've done 2 previous Square boot camps, so you can check those out. And the most recent Toolbox Tuesday, from just a couple of weeks ago shows how to set up your demo account. But as always, if you need any assistance, reach out, friends, because we can't help if we don't know where it hurts. So until we meet again next week on Thursday, invoicing and come on, John,
Estimates,
help me.
contracts, projects.
There we go.
And Scott, the other little thing we were going to drop today is for all of you Genie users, check out the new POS
TV
section,
that's right.
which contains all of the recording boot camps and videos and other information for all of our POS offerings.
It's kind of like MTV, except it has no music, but it's all point of sale systems. I promise you, you really should check it out. That is currently live right now in the Genie app. But once again, to you, the sales agent, thank you so much for joining. Looking forward to seeing you next week on the next Square Bootcamp. And until we meet again, rock on and stay heavy metal, and let us know how we can help, because once again, we can't help if we don't know where it hurts. Until we meet again, domo arigato. Thanks, everybody. Take care.